Welcome to the Loveland Report and Loan Arranger Show. I'm Cleve, Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner for over 30 years. Alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Loan Arranger, we're talking mortgage, we're talking real estate, we're talking what is the market doing, stock market's tanking, are the rates going up, are they going down, what's happening to the real estate market? We'll get into all that today. I've got some listings. I'm going to dig into some numbers, Bruce, on how sales are climbing for the spring season.
It's interesting how that's happening, isn't it?
No, it does. We do have a season to selling. It's not a big climb like I'd like to see, but when you fix these rates, we'll be good. We'll talk about that.
Well, I'm working on it, my friend.
I'm going to talk about listings, your price position when you first hit the market, how to do that, and then also how to handle when everybody. I sit down with people all the time and they'll say, "Oh, I got a buyer for my house,"
right?
And how to handle that. There's a correct way to handle that, and smoking out. Are they for real? I can talk about that. And time is money. We're going to dig into that when it comes to selling, buying, or renting your house, being a landlord. So we'll talk about all that. What do you got today, Bruce?
Well, I want to talk about interest rates because the market is the topic right now. It's all over the news. Everybody's talking about what's going on in the stock market. And how does that affect interest rates? Is it the right time to refinance? Is it the right time to even buy a property right now? I want to get into that. Who's buying properties? Where are the opportunities? And I'm also seeing a lot of investors jumping in the market. So who's buying right now and where are the advantages and tips for a seller to help sell their home? Because right now we've got an abundance of inventory in the market right now. So what do sellers have to do to compete? What are they doing to incentivize the buyer to be able to purchase their home? And are some sellers still unrealistic about their values? What do you think about that?
Are they on the market or are they in the market?
Exactly.
So we'll dig into that. I think right now, Bruce, I am getting more buyer traffic and just, elephant in the room, stock market's had a rough couple days because of the tariffs. I foresee that settling down as these countries come to the table and work something out with the Trump administration. But what did that do to rates? Have we've climbed to the sevens or where are we at?
Well, you could be in the sevens depending on your credit score, but interest rates are still maintaining in the sixes. They've jumped up. I mean, we were, as of Thursday of last week was the best day we've seen in a long time.
Uh-huh.
Friday, I saw an indicator that was alerting to me. So I locked several of my clients in on Friday. I knew that was it. Now, the refi market, I still didn't think was right. I still think that there's better days ahead. And I don't think that people should refinance right now if they're looking just to lower their rate. I think cashing out for debt consolidation is a different story because if you're drowning in debt, you've got to get out of debt. We've got to eliminate and reduce your expenses per month because of inflation. But I'm finding that I looked at the market on Thursday. I said, there's an indicator right now. Friday, it started off good. It ended up horrible.
Yeah.
Just literally, It was a bloodbath in the market.
Yep.
So when the stock, and generally when the stocks are doing poorly, mortgage rates are going to do better.
Yeah.
But the bond market suffered, the stock market suffered, everything went to hell in a handbasket.
Well, I think what's important though is that people call you, get their application in, because you talked about they could be in the sevens. That's probably because if they have a 650 score, their rate's going to be higher than if they have an 800 score.
Right.
And you can tell people to be ready, to be perched on the fence, like a bird on a wire, perched there waiting to buy something. They need to get on to WeBringYouHome.com.
Refinance. Absolutely. Get your application made. We only do a soft credit pull here. We don't do anything to negatively affect anyone's credit ever. We always want the best for you. Cross Country, the largest retail lender in the country right now. And I'm right here in your backyard. I watch the market like a hawk. I understand how to read Japanese candlesticks. I know the bond market. I know what the indicators are. I watch what news is coming up in the days ahead. Your average loan officer or bank teller that's doing your mortgage has no clue as to what to do. And I can promise you, I'll bet you there wasn't many loan officers in the entire nation that called their clients that were floating rates, waiting for things to get better and saying, now's the time to lock in.
Yeah.
Don't wait any longer. It could get very dangerous. And some folks decided they wanted to ride it out and they paid the price because we've lost well over 100 basis points just since Thursday. Now, 100 basis points on the bond market, that means for every for whatever the rate was on Thursday, you paid at least 1 point more in loan cost for that.
Yeah.
At least 1 point. And on a $400,000 mortgage, that's $4,000 more dollars that
Yeah.
you're paying. So
Well, this is what I mean. People, the number as the sales climb, we're getting into a spring season. People thinking about the school in a couple months. They're starting to look for homes. They want to move this summer. This is when we start getting busy. April's one of the busiest months for home sales. I think it's April 20th
yes,
or something. Is that one day
there
where
is a day.
the most homes sell on that day? But it's people, because they want to close the end of May or early June, and that you got to watch what's going on out there. But this is why we help people with their real estate plan. We look at what's out there. Just had a buyer. They were very confident. They were searching at 400,000. They knew exactly what 420 looked like. This is after 2
Sure.
days in the car, about 15 homes and the neighborhoods they wanted to be in. They knew what 420 looked like. They knew that one guy that was crazy at 415
Sure.
because the house was terrible. They
Yeah.
knew what 370 looked like. And they were able to make a confident offer and they felt really good about it. They saw one and they went in close to full price because it was priced well. And this is what's important about having a good agent help you out to look around, having somebody help you with your plan and educating you and knowing your numbers. What are you going to, what type of loan are they getting with you? How do we need to structure the deal? What kind of closing costs do we need? I think buyers should always ask for closing costs. It's just keep that money in your pocket.
I do too. And I wouldn't buy a house without it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather pay a little bit more for the house and get the closing costs paid than reduce the price.
Yep. So I think people watching that will see when you know what you got your plan, you know what you want. You need to have more square footage. You need to have a fourth bedroom. You want a bigger yard, whatever that's going to be. We can help you find that. Just give us a call at 407-352-8118 or go to cleveloveland.com.
Yeah, or call the loan arranger. Let's get your application started right now for purchase, refinance, home equity. I'm doing a lot of construction loans as well right now with some local builders. So if you would like to get your application started, I can promise you, you won't find a better company with better interest rates, lowest possible closing costs. I am a direct lender. I'm not a middleman. I'm not a broker. Everything is done in-house, and we service 90% of the loans we close. Bruce Woodburn, Cross Country Mortgage. I am the loan arranger. You can reach me now at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. Get your application started now. It's simple and easy. You will get on a phone call, a Zoom call with me, and I will help you structure the loan the best way that we possibly can to make it as easy and affordable for you.
All right. Now, I got a couple emails, Bruce, talking about where to start pricing on a house. Now, as a seller, I work with a lot of sellers. And as a seller, you always want $1 million for your home.
Sure.
But I'm going to tell you to list it at $599.
Yes, because it's not $1 million.
What's the best place to start? And this is why it's very important you have a realtor that knows the market. If you are in a market where there's 40 other homes around you for sale, just like yours,
Sure.
2,400 square foot, 4-3 with a pool, and there's 400 other active homes around you and 2 builders down the street, you've got to be pretty wary of where your market position is. And literally what's happening, Bruce, is there'll be 39 homes listed at $499,900. You need to go on at $498,900 or $495,900.
Yeah.
And this is what's important about helping you. Also, when you make a market adjustment, let's say you've been on the market for a couple of weeks and nothing's happened. You haven't gotten any offers. Now, how many people came through? That's the other thing. It's how we measure how well priced a house is. Did one person come through last week or did 10?
Right.
And that tells you how much to adjust the price also. So when I sit down with a seller and go over a market position readjustment, I'll say, well, 4 of your people came through. One of them bought the one down the street that had a 3rd-car garage that you don't have. It was the same price as you. We probably ought to adjust down. You had good activity, but usually you need about a 1 or 2% shift in the price. But what most people do, Bruce, is they sit
Right.
for months and then they yell at their realtor after 8 weeks and then they get a bunch of balloons. They do an open house on the overpriced house. So buyers are very smart. They know what's out there.
You know what? That's where you come in. And I think that you show your value because you truly are not afraid to tell the client what they need to do to get what they really want. And I don't think a lot of other real estate agents really, they'll listen to what the client says, but if the client's not really realistic with what's happening in the market,
Yep.
you're not doing them any favors.
Yeah.
You're not doing them
No.
any favors.
Well,
It's just like me structuring a loan. You could call me and say, yeah, I want to put 20% down and do a conventional loan. Yeah, but you got a 650 credit score. I can get you better terms if we go in this direction. So you've got to have, if you just listen to what the client said, the client doesn't always know what the best situation for them
but
is.
also, what is their plan? Are they going to buy another home? Is this a rental property? Is it sitting empty? Should we rent it for another year? I got an appointment right after we do the show today on checking. A gentleman's got a house. He may want to rent it, may want to sell it. I'm going to go over both those numbers with him. And then, do they have a mortgage? Is it a 10-year, excuse me, is it a 15-year mortgage or is it a 30-year mortgage?
Right.
Is it 10 years old or is it 1 year old? All these things come into play. And it's funny, when I go through these numbers, people will tell me, oh my God, I didn't get all this information. I've interviewed 2 other realtors. And you got to have all the facts to know what your best plan is going to be. So that's what we do at Loveland Properties. But I think listings out there, especially, we got inventory. We'll have inventory numbers next week. I should have those for the show on where we're at. I assume it's probably going to grow a little bit, but sales will be up too, because this is just the season.
I'm hoping sales will be up with this recent, events that we're having with tariffs.
Well,
and
think about
market,
this though.
It's hard to tell what people
When the market
really
doesn't do
feeling.
great, usually what will happen is rates will come down. Bonds will, hopefully the bond market will straighten out. Rates come down, then real estate will start to take off. Then the money will pour back into the stock market.
Well, there's one thing for sure. This is not permanent.
Yeah.
It's not going to be permanent. And Trump literally told us from the beginning it was going to be painful to get things started. But how else can we fix this problem? I don't understand, Cleve, how anyone with any brain doesn't understand that we needed to do this. We needed to fix the way the country was. And when I look at people that are opposing it and saying, oh my God, you're tanking the market. Listen, we got to have a little pain before we have a little gain.
Yeah.
But I can tell you one thing that will never benefit this country, and that is my pharmaceuticals are coming from China. My lumber's coming from other countries.
Yeah.
My steel's coming from China. If we don't get that under control, we are in big trouble. We're already in big trouble.
Yep.
And now you have somebody that at least has the gonads to get out there and make these changes. It's not popular and it's not easy, but by God, it's got to be done. And I think we need to do everything we can to support it, suck it up, and just work with what he's doing, because I think that what he's doing is the right thing, and the market will change and it will get better.
You see,
interest rates will come around.
Doge is going to work on Fannie Mae.
Yeah.
100 workers laid off, citing unethical conduct.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Yep.
I heard that there was a real estate agent in our market right now that was just written up on some.
There's always something like that going on, but there's this. I just think the government, all these cuts that they're doing in the government, it's going to ripple back through the market as savings to us, the consumer, the average American citizen.
Right.
So, but we got a break coming up. If you need anything with real estate, you need to sell, buy, or you need help with your management, property management. You're chasing tenants for rent. You're not getting rent. You're not getting late fees. Properties are getting destroyed. Call me at 407-352-8118 or go to cleveloveland.com. I'll be working all weekend.
Yep. Or call the Lone Ranger right now. Here, ready to take your phone call. You can reach me now at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144. Or WeBringYouHome.com. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about the direction things are going in with interest rate, where the opportunities are in the market, so that you can position yourself that when you're ready to buy a piece of property, you're ready to go out shopping for a home, you are set up to appear like you are a cash buyer, because those are the buyers that are winning. We'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Show. Don't go anywhere.